Once again, you already can't even talk. Once again, you already know what it is, and you already know where you have reached the number one collaborative professional wrestling podcast anywhere in the by God world. OMG. What a weekend. And little did we know that the weekend was not over Saturday. It wasn't over with the NFC and AFC championship. The weekend rolled over because, boy, do we have some big news for you. The entire face of professional wrestling, the entire face of World Wrestling Entertainment, and more specifically, the entire face of WrestleMania has changed. And you all know what I'm talking about, but we're going to get into it in about 30 to 40 seconds. But before I do that, I want to introduce my good friend and co-host, Conrad Cushman, representing Everything Pro Wrestling. My name is Sean Hubbard, representing Hubbard Wrestling Weekly. We are Clash of the By God podcast, and man, oh man, the chat is already full. We're fired up. We're depressed all at the same time. But we are going to move forward because that's what professionals do. So, for the benefit of those with flash photography, Conrad, drop that thing.
It's going to be a tough one to remain professional tonight. It's going to be a tough one. Now, look, guys, I got to do all the YouTube things first. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you like what you are hearing. Hit the like button if you are in the live chat. We are going to get to your comments, I promise, in 1 second here. Also, leave us a comment afterwards. I like reading them. Sean, I see, pops in and reads them as well and responds back to when you guys are talking to him. Make sure you guys show some love. Nightbot has been adjusted. For anybody who thinks that they were putting caps or emojis and stuff like that, I took that off. So take it easy with it, though. I don't have to put in words and stuff for them to ban people for. But Nightbot should be on its best behavior from now on. And last but not least, I want to address the controversy surrounding the weekend on behalf of Clash of the Podcast. If you watched the show that we did on Sean's channel, which is still up and available for those who want to check it out, with Crystal, Jesse, Sean, thank you guys for checking that out too. I know a lot of people came in to listen to us. We're not going to address too much with the allegations. I will say on my behalf and Sean's behalf, the allegations are horrific, disgusting. We do not condone them, but we are also not going to delve too deep into them because the matter is still going on.
Right.
There was a press conference that happened afterwards as well. It was a can't win situation for all parties involved. We also don't know their side of things and what people were told. I know that some people didn't like the answers. I understand that as well. So I don't want to get too deep into that. I don't want the chat arguing and fighting and going back and forth about that either. I'm going to leave that where it is, and we are going to strictly just talk about the Royal Rumble event. Those events will play itself out, and when the time is right, I think me and Sean will then talk about it, because trust me, the prelude to Clash of the Podcast was the first time that he retired. So we will talk about it once it's time, but as of right now, not speaking on that. You feel good with that, Sean? If you want to add anything, feel free.
Yeah, just going to piggyback and just say you hit the nail right on the head. The allegations are horrendous. We are very upset about what we've heard, but we cannot pass judgment or dispersion until all the T's have been crossed and I's have been dotted. But as you know, we said on the Clash on my channel last Thursday, we're not going to insult your intelligence by just going straight into the pro wrestling deal and not talk about real life. We're just going to say we'll see how it plays out. And thank you, Conrad, for that articulate introduction.
Starting things off tonight, Joel jumped up top with the super chat here. He said, "Thank you for the $2, brother. Number one, can't wait to hear Sean and Conrad's Rumble review. We are going to get into it. It was a short card, 4 matches only.
Joe, we appreciate you, man.
Yes, thank you so much, Joel. I appreciate the love, brother. Always appreciate it. And thank you to everyone who was in the chat as well. Sir Quill's in the house. He came in early. He said, "What's up, Conrad and Sean? Chat, your boy Sir Quills is back again to enjoy my 2 favorite bros, CJ and Hubs, for my favorite part of Monday, episode 74, Clash of the Podcast. Let's get into it. Had to catch the Royal Rumble at a later time due to being in Niagara Falls to see my dad perform at the Kool and the Gang concert, which he and the group absolutely crushed on stage. 10 out of 10 show. Shout out to your pops, man. Most definitely.
Quilly and Papa Quilly. Shout out.
Yeah, and he says, unfortunately for the Rumble, though, it was nowhere near a 10 out of 10. It was a fair and soft 7 out of 10 show with some sprinkles of good moments, but it's WWE after all. 10 out of 10 shows don't exist.
That's a fact.
Pro Wrestler Shoot was in here, and he said undesirable to undeniable. That must be in reference to something.
The only Vinny I like in the building.
Vinny says, "Hey guys, happy Monday. God bless. Funny how in one weekend we both learned our WrestleMania main event and our Super Bowl matchup, and they're both rematches." I did peep that, Vinny. Much respect us saying that. And the Super Bowl ones got me feeling sick, I think, really bad, because I'm like, oh, not again. Yeah, I don't know how you feel about it. If you got quick thoughts.
I'm a big Lamar fan, so salute to him in a losing effort. It's unfortunate. And Detroit fans, I cry for you guys. McKinney, the Detroit guy, I cry for you guys, man.
Yeah. Roman Reigns is the Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs, and Cody is Brock Purdy. I got nothing on that. Ray. That's great. Ray says, "Happy Monday, guys. Let's go." Cody, finish the story. What up, Ray? Appreciate you. And I love the comments too.
Ray, thank you, man. Appreciate you.
You know what, though? You know what they did bring up the Super Bowl in that I always think of? You remember the Super Bowl in 94? It was the Chargers versus the 49ers. And I always remember Bam Bam Bigelow and Tatanka against, I think it was the 1-2-3 kid and Marty Jannetty. Was it that?
Bob Sparkplug.
Bob Holly, and they said that they were the Chargers, and they pulled the upset and got the win. I was like, could the Chargers do it? And I was like, nah, let me stop. Even as a kid, I was like, nah, they ain't doing that. So yeah, I always think of that
reference. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Question for both of you guys. Ray, let's say we're going to get into this. I promise you. We're going to save your question for a little bit later. I'm hurt. That's all you need to know. I don't want to get all sad and all Eeyore on here. Vinny said, oh, here we go with this stuff. I got to read it. Punk is made of glass at this point. Cody winning was 100% the right call, even with hindsight. You made a promise. You made a promise.
I'm holding on. I'm keeping my promise. I haven't broken my promise, but what Vinny said is kind of funny. I'm not going to abandon what I gave you my word, and I'm going to stick to it. But Vinny said a lot.
Makes even more sense why they had reservations of having Punk win it.
Oh boy.
Doug getting in here. What up, Doug? Appreciate you joining in the fray, brother. Get ready for the Rocky 2 references on the road to WrestleMania. Oh, great. My backup World Heavyweight Championship match is going to either be Orton Cena, or Drew Sammy versus Priest. Maybe.
I don't know about that, but I hear you.
When I thought of a backup World Heavyweight Championship match, I went with Judgment Day imploding Priest versus Balor. Yo, we got to make a shirt, I think, soon. Hashtag what draft? He said, what draft? LOL, just kidding. Nah, I know it would never happen, but I'd love to see Cena Orton one last time. Career versus title. No. I had enough of that match back in the day. Do you want to see that match ever? Cena Orton again? Or do you want it or no?
I don't want to see Cena Orton 57, no.
Yeah, I'm good on that. BJ sticking to Sean's talking about sticking to his guns when we started the pre-production. That's why we were laughing when we first came on. BJ is still saying triple threat. It's gonna be a triple threat.
I hear you. I don't think so though, but I hear you. M. Leezy Fo Sheezy. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Hope everyone is well, and let's chill and chat with the best podcast in the game. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you, M. Leezy. Thank you so much.
All love, Matt. Man, tonight's show should be, tonight should be tonight should be news heavy Raw. The first hour is commercial free. Here we go. Heartbreaking if the rumor is true. That you know what that means for the other 2 hours.
You know what that means.
It's time to snap into Slim Jims and stuff. We'll be seeing them daggone commercials every 2 minutes. Guy Will Gamble, yo, what's good, everyone? Was a cool, decent Rumble. Watched it with my homie and he could tell who the big deals were. Is the Punk injury legit or angle? It sounds legit. Everyone's reporting it.
It's legit. It's legit. There, it's not determined whether he's going to miss WrestleMania, but if he does have a torn tricep, he will be missing WrestleMania. That's a fact.
Yeah, and Ray, we're going to be glossing over that as well in what we had talked about before. I just don't think I'm skipping your question to be mean. I see people talking about Quill's Get Down On It has been my alarm for like 3 years. Yeah. Buffalo's got a lot of good musicians. You guys would be surprised. It's just you have to leave here if you want to make it big. XG Dub, what's good? One thing WWE didn't see coming was the last week that may have solved their World Championship issues. Gunther and Mania opponent, if they are smart, put Gunther in the World Championship match. I have a comment to that.
Uso win the Intercontinental Championship in Australia. I've been waiting for a long time.
My apologies. Donnie says, what up, Clash of the Podcast? Royal Rumble Fire. Okay. McKinney's in the house. Yo, I'm here to talk wrestle with the live fire chat and the EPMD of podcast Clash of the Champions. Here to let y'all know the first step is the hardest, but the journey is smooth sailing.
I like that. I
appreciate the love, McKinney. It's been heartbreak week after week when I come on here on Mondays, and I'm tired of missing field goals. I'm tired of people being injured. I'm tired of WrestleMania getting messed up. I'm tired of it all. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Pro Wrestler Shoe says, yo, what's good, Jesse? They got a cool show lined up tomorrow. You're getting some free advertisement here from me. Make sure you check them out as well. They are going to have some icons of the ring. They're going to be talking about the cause and stuff that they got lined up for 2K24. There you go, Jesse. Don't say I never give you some free publicity. Oh, here we go. Adrenaline in my soul. New WWE champ Cody Rhodes. Sean, just let it be for a minute, bro. This Super Bowl is going to be different from the last matchup, in my opinion. Even the outcome is the same. Feels the same for WrestleMania. Why you got the sunglasses? Gotta chill, Guy Will Gamble. The Chargers are the Santino Marella. Hey, they got a new coach coming, I heard.
Yep, the national champ.
Oh, shout out to the Browns who got our old offensive coordinator that we got rid of. Best of luck to Ken Dorsey. Cheap material Punk. I'm sorry, Conrad. Cody is not finishing the story, Mike said. I just want to let you guys know that Sean's picks are still alive and well. The Rock pick is alive and well. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I've seen a lot of Priest and Balor. John G in the chat. What's good, John? Welcome, man. I'm glad you're joining us for a live one. Hopefully you can throw some comments up in here as well with the rest of the folks. James from the Pro Wrestler Shoot in the house. Punk's out. Next man step up. Sucks, but show must go on. That is true.
Winner of the Hubbard Wrestling Weekly Clash of the Podcast contest last week to watch the Mox Gringo match on Triller TV pay-per-view. We appreciate you, James.
Yeah, Mox is bugging too.
Yeah, facts.
He was bugging in that match. Go back and watch to see what he got slammed on. It's on Triller TV.
Too much.
I said Mox is crazy. People are saying they sense a three-way Fair enough, LOL. Cena Orton is Brady versus Manning for me. Oh, no. No more of them T2. Gone. I'm done. I'm over it. And we're going to give the last one to Deanna here. Made it home in time to see my favorite brothers. That's what I like to hear. Talk about our favorite adult soap opera, pro wrestling. That's true.
Deanna, I like Deanna. She's very nice.
Well, Sean probably will want to sing that one.
No, I'm not gonna. Vinny, this is why you're my guy, Vinny. But holy crap! I mean, okay. Listen. In case you guys are wondering, I told Conrad I would not come on here and misbehave. I told him that I would show respect to the CM Punk situation. By the way, I don't dislike CM Punk, so let's go on the record with that. So I'm not happy about the news, but I told him I wouldn't talk about him, the injury-prone crap or anything like that. I'm not going to do him dirty in that way. And I also said that I would not brag about how things have gone as it relates to things that I predicted, because things that I predicted seem to be very much alive and well. But Conrad, I'm gonna remain and keep this level of decorum that I've shown since we've come on the air.
That's what I like to hear. McKinney said, I'm glad that no matter what happens, WWE proved they have enough stars, men and women, to not need old school stars to get things done. The Rock will not, and I repeat, will not be in the WrestleMania 40 match. Oh yeah, he's gonna be on Netflix. Y'all better watch. That match is happening. I just don't know when. Joel said forks, please. I don't ever want to see Moxley getting slammed on forks again. Rob comes in to make sure you know, hashtag Mox sucks. Throw Edge in that Cena Orton match is like adding Drew Brees. What numbers did Mercedes enter in the Rumble?
Yeah, so, but maybe I think it's AEW, but like I said, WWE, so we'll see.
Conrad, there is a new theme. Old man Punk wrestles in AEW, gets hurt. One match, WWE gets hurt. It's time to wrestle in the senior bouncy house. I can't.
And you were worried about me.
Why? Chris, I don't know why it is doing that. I will check that again. Here goes the bot again. I know, Chris. I'm sorry.
Hi, Crystal.
I'll check on it. Chad Schrader has also joined us. What up, Chad? What up? We're gonna get into this. Let's start talking Rumble.
I want to create a shirt for Crystal. It's good. Not just a pretty face, because she is on top of her game.
The ladies need shirts too here.
Yep. Not just a pretty face. That's going to be Crystal's shirt.
Where do you want to start? Where do you want to start with this?
I promise you that tonight you would run the show. Like, this is all you, man. I
know. I'm in a level of depression, people. You don't know what I'm going. Sean, listen. Here's what happened to me. This chair I'm sitting in, I was like, well, it's time to get done for work, and I'm going to go work out and have a good day. As I'm getting ready, throwing on the shorts, getting ready. You're like, all right, let me get my music ready. Got that. I got my keys. Sean calls me. And, I'm about to go brush my teeth. Can't go to the gym with funky breath. I brush my teeth before I do these too. Like, it's just a weird thing I got. So I'm getting ready to brush my teeth. And Sean calls me. I'm like, hey, what's up, bro? Did you see the news? What news? And it's just shattered all of this. We'll get into it when we get into the main event of this. Let's start with the happy part. Sean, for me, the best match was the opening match on this whole card. Honestly. I thought the Women's Rumble was the best match.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah. I'm starting to think it's a mistake to have two on this show, though, because one will suffer. I'm trying to think if there's been
You can't ever go back.
From two Rumbles?
Yeah, you can't ever go back.
Can you split the time? I was thinking, like, could they do 2 days? I don't know if that works, though.
I would strongly, and I don't strongly disagree with you about anything, but I would strongly.
No, listen. This is like being in the creative room, and I'm throwing something against the wall. Can we do?
I think the Royal Rumble, the Women's Royal Rumble being picked up in 2018 was a tremendous idea. I think it's worked. I think it's been arguable that the Women's Rumble in some years have been better than the Men's Rumble, just like I think it was better this year. And I think you could never go back. If you go back and take the Women's one away, it's a slap in the face of the women. If you go back and you take the men's one away, it's a slap in the face of tradition. So you have to, I mean, when we saw a 4-match card, we thought it was crazy, but you know what? The pay-per-view went off the air about 11:45 Eastern time, so they got the time part right.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Number one coming out, that was Natalia. Natalia came out at 1. What'd you think of number 2 though?
I mean, I don't take much credit for being right about this. I think it was the writing was on the wall about Naomi the entire time, but I'm very happy to see her back. I'm very happy to see the reception that she got. I don't think number 2 was the best idea. It should have either been number 1 or a little bit later down the line, but I'm cool with it. And at the end of the day, she had a great showing. Naomi's a tremendous athlete and a tremendous performer. I think that she is more at home in WWE. She never would have left had WWE not done her dirty. So we'll see how it plays out from here. She gave Triple H a big hug in the post match, photo shoot. So I guess all is well on that front. But it was cool to see Naomi back. Trinity Fatu, whatever you want to call her. She's awesome, and let's see how it plays out from here.
Man, it's rough out here, man. I thought she did really well. Our first surprise person who came out, Jordynne Grace. They had the TNA Knockouts champion make a surprise appearance. This is stuff that we wouldn't have seen before. I do think it's more likely for the Women's Rumble that you gotta try to figure out some surprises from somewhere to do something, because I just don't think the roster has the depth that it needs to fill an entire Rumble, at least not yet. Maybe that's the end goal, to have it to where you have 30 in there. But I thought Jordynne Grace went in there and she looked like she belonged. I'm wondering why she doesn't have a contract. That's what I'd be wondering if I was a fan. Why is she not on our roster?
Jordynne Grace has deserved to be in WWE for the longest. She's been a tremendous superstar for the longest. I love the spot that they did with Naomi and Jordynne Grace in the Rumble. For anybody who watches TNA, that was one of the main events of their recent pay-per-view for the Women's Championship in Naomi's last televised match. So I love that. And the fans responded to that. So that means TNA has a little buzz. That's a little side note. It looks like TNA starting to get themselves together, which is an awesome thing. But yes, Jordynne Grace having a tremendous showing at the Royal Rumble is no surprise for me.
Yeah. Yeah, she came in, crushed, did very well. I'm just trying to follow along here with some of these. That was later. Hold on here. Who else was in this? Actually, I think all of these were later. I guess we can get into more of the performance aspect of it. What'd you think, man? How'd you feel about?
It was good. Look, there's some things that stand out. We have to address the elephant in the room, which is the tremendous performance of the debuting Jade Cargill. I thought that was absolutely outstanding. She did not disappoint. Nia Jax set the stage with having a really good performance to that point, eliminating, I believe, 8 people. However, by the time it was all said and done, the one and only Miss Jade Cargill, the former undefeated TNT TBS women's champion, came out and showed out. And obviously this moment face to face with Bianca Belair was something the whole world was talking about. I just think that WWE needs to stop being so predictable. I'm not going to go on a big tirade about that again. Everybody knows how I feel about predictable wrestling. But yes, we've known since Jade Cargill got signed that they wanted to put her up against Bianca. I think a match between Jade and Nia Jax was teased, and I think that's WrestleMania worthy. I really do. I think you put them in a match together. I think you can put, them in a triple threat or have a title on the line or something of that sort. But to stay focused on the Royal Rumble itself, Jade Cargill was amazing. She looked amazing. She performed amazing. She got Nia Jax up in the air twice, eliminated her clean, and it was something that we'll always remember. I think it's the moment of the night from this particular Royal Rumble.
Yeah, she did great. I thought Tiffany Stratton looked really good as well. When she got to get in there and just, they let her shine for a second. Tiffany Stratton's a big player. I respect her decision to stay in NXT when they offered her the spot to come up. I think it was the right move, and I think she needs a little bit more time down there, but Tiffany Stratton's almost ready. The
Tiffany
soup is
Stratton
cooking.
impressed me tremendously. She is main event ready. I think that she's almost shortchanging herself by staying in NXT, but I understand your point and I agree. She wanted to get a little bit more polished, and salute to her for wanting to stay down a little longer so that she never has to go back down, if that makes any sense. She wants to make sure that when she comes up, she stays up and that she's ready for the spotlight. I think she is, and I think when she does premiere on the main roster, that she'll be a winner. And I think it's really going to be exciting to see what happens moving forward.
I was very shocked by I thought Becky came out, performed very well. Becky was my like backup pick to who I thought could have won, and Becky just kind of got dumped at one point. I was shocked that they made that move. Like they were just like, yeah, see you.
I'm not going to sit up here and lie. I never thought that Becky was going to win this match. I just did not think it made any sense. I think there's so many ways to get to WrestleMania and get to Rhea Ripley, where winning this match did not have to be the way. I think the way it played out was the best conceivable way to get the main event, the WrestleMania women's main event that we're looking for, and the whole situation with Damage Control playing itself out, because now the decision is taken out of Becky Lynch's hands. She has to go and win her way into whatever match that Bayley decides to not take. I think the drama that's going to come from Bayley making the decision is going to lead to the breakup of Damage Control. That's no rocket science thing I'm coming up with. Everybody sees that coming, but they have to do it right. And if they do it right, I think it's going to be tremendous television for the next 2 months.
You can tell a heck of a story too if you can get a certain boss time person to play into it too. You could even make it an even better moment if you wanted to.
And to Conrad's point about some predictability in wrestling being good, yes, that is very true. But you have to really go out of your way, Conrad, to make predictable wrestling be entertaining. This can be done. The whole world can see Io versus Bayley coming down the pike, but the way they do it and the way they set it up is going to be the key.
True. Liv Morgan made her return as well. I did not want to take that too lightly. Looked like she had a little Ashley Massaro tribute in her attire there. She was in the final mix too. They had Jade Cargill, Liv Morgan, and Bayley hanging out until the end. Like you said, they all look tremendous in this, but in the end, they went with the right move. It was Bayley's time. Bayley deserves this. I feel like you can't tell me nothing. I'm not going to say nothing. It was Bayley's time, I thought, to win this.
The only thing I don't like about the fact that I predicted this correct is that now there's only one woman in the four horsewomen who's never won the Royal Rumble, and that Royal Rumble that she should have won was stolen from her by Ronda Rousey. But I digress. Mercedes Moné was not in the Rumble. Bayley was the winner. She deserved to be the winner. I just think it's a tough thing when you go back in time and look at the four horsewomen and see that Mercedes is the only one who hasn't won one yet. But unfortunately, that's the case. But moving forward, I think Bayley's going to be a tremendous babyface champion. And we've never seen Bayley in this current incarnation as a babyface. She's been the hugger. It was at times really cool. At other times a little bit nauseating. She's been a heel for about 3-4 years now. And now she's going to be this kind of like rough around the edges heel, anti-hero that I think the fans are really going to get behind. They certainly got behind her on Saturday night.
Right. Guy Will Gamble says, last 3 years, Women's Rumble's been better in my opinion. I don't know if it was all three for me, but I'll say the last couple of years, I did think the Women's Rumble has been better.
I just said that. I agree. I think the Women's Rumble has outshined.
The women have been stealing the show, Deanna says. Pro Wrestling Shoe says, I think the returns ruined AEW pay-per-views just like they ruined the Royal Rumble. I thought the men's match was match of the night this year. Women's was only exciting for the returns, new faces, and debut. I think the difference is that there were several people who could have won the women's. Like we did Sean's show, and this is going to be the perfect time for me to have Nightbot plug Sean's channel. You had several winners. People were talking about maybe it's Nia Jax, maybe Jade shows up and wins, maybe it's Bayley, maybe it's Becky. We heard there were a lot of people who could have won. That's the difference, and they were believable. because that's throughout your booking throughout the year and how Nia Jax has looked on Raw recently. I think those things helped as well. I just thought the men still got that like blasé feeling to certain people when they come out. You just see them and you're like, okay, all right. And then they get in there, grab a hold. They're trying to. 2 Rumble matches are hard to do, and once again, if you go second, it might be hard to live up to it. In 4 matches that they gave all generous amounts of time, in my opinion.
Agreed.
So excited. We all knew she was coming back. Thank you for that, Chris. Ray said, but that's been my favorite women's Rumble, even over Asuka winning. I thought that last one with Rhea Ripley was very well done, too.
It was. Especially her winning one.
Asuka winning was dope. Sure, it was lengthy. It took 25 minutes for the entrance of the Fatal 4-Way. Yo, you ain't lying. Chad said Naomi did great. I'm happy she's back. Women's Rumble was better than the men's. The KO Logan Paul match was match of the night. The men's Rumble was cool, but it got slow, and the Fatal 4-Way was meh because I'm tired of the solo. Yeah, we're about to get into that too. People are saying the TNA Knockouts champ shocked me. Forbidden Door term is silly. Cut it out. You don't have to poo-poo on someone's Cheerios because you don't like a term. He could have just kept it moving and not said that.
Right.
I'm looking. I was worried for Bianca's neck with that hair pull. Yeah, I thought that was a creative elimination though to get Bianca out because Bianca, we didn't talk about her enough, Sean. She crushed too. She was another one. I was like,
she had a great night.
I love seeing Grace. She was killing it. Jordan Grace came out, and all I could do was yell like Derek when Cody came out last year. The women put on. It got sloppy, but the spots were amazing. Yeah, there were some sloppy points, but it's fine. It's fine for what it is. They covered up fine enough. Sean, WWE was giving people the tease they wanted. Jade and Bianca. I agree, Chris.
I hear you.
I'm with it. I'm just following up on. There were a lot of comments I did not pull up before when we were talking. Tiffany Shatton threw me off with all that screaming she was doing. Tiffany had a nice showing. I love Jade's theme. Got the WCW treatment. Sean, what do you say to people who talked crap about Jay Cargill and AEW, and then you see the same gimmick? I saw that get brought up with like Cody as well. Like he's the same person he was in AEW. So how were you booing him there, but now you're cheering him here? You know what I mean? Is that just tribalism you think at its finest, or is there a reason that, like, is it a presentation thing or?
100%. 100%. There was absolutely nothing wrong with what she did. There was no reason to make the change. I think she was absolutely outstanding. She was outstanding in TNA. She was outstanding in AEW, and she's outstanding now.
Right. Let me see here. Oh, R-Truth. We forgot to bring up his spot, too, where he came out. R-Truth kind of gave a little preview to where he was going to be in the Rumble. So he came out at, it was like, it was between 23 and 25. I think it was 23 or 24 maybe. R-Truth comes out and he goes into the ring. He was like, what's going on here? And R-Truth gets dumped out. They even put a little comedy in the match for the Women's Rumble and just had R-Truth get out. And then Adam Pearce is yelling at him, this is the wrong Rumble. And he took, I forgot whose spot he took. What's the homegirl's name from with Ivar and the Viking Raiders?
Valhalla.
Yeah. Them feet weren't dirty that night, so she gets a pass. She's all right. That ain't nothing worse than seeing them dirty feet when she comes out. The first thing I think, I'm like, I'm getting up. I can't see this. I can't.
Rough to see.
It was interesting they didn't rely on any legends in the Rumble. Yes, in the men you had Punk, Cody, Drew, Gunther. I thought any of those 4 had a chance to win. See, I wouldn't believe that though. I would not believe in Drew or Gunther in winning. I don't know. Did you think that, Sean?
I didn't believe in Drew McIntyre. Absolutely not.
Yeah. R-Truth's going to end up.
Gunther, because of the face-to-face interaction with Seth the previous week, made it a possibility.
Yeah. WWE and AEW are different audiences, Chris says. Their reactions about going to be different. Okay. Sarah Logan, yeah, that was her name before. Valhalla got in the match and Insta got dumped and then blamed Truth for it. Team Strongest, Blair, Cargill. I'd love to see them as tag champs. I don't know if they'll do that, but I'd love to see it.
And Kabuki Warriors against those two, that's main event quality.
Kind of feel bad for Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. Is that her name still? I hope that they didn't change her name.
That's their name. And no, and by the way, I don't feel sorry for them at all.
No, I thought they didn't even get a chance to get anything going. But was it me and you who talked about this, or was it me and someone else about their personalities?
It was me and you, and it was,
Yeah,
and I don't disagree. I agree with you completely.
yeah, they got to add some more personality to them. They got a little short run, but I'd like to see them add some more flavor into their act, and I think it'll help out. But let's talk about this four way, Sean. This is a great shot. This looks like a WWE like 2K game. 2K24 coming out soon. Reserve your copies. That is not a sponsored ad either. But LA Knight came out in some Attitude Era like type of gear. AJ Styles looking like he's at the end of his TNA run with the sad all black. Randy Orton played it cool, and Roman Reigns, he showed up. So we're there. What did you think of the four-way match?
One of the worst matches I've ever seen as it relates to the way it played out and the drama that ensued, which was none. It was laughable, the performance that was put on. I'm certainly not talking about from an athletic standpoint. All four guys came and brought it. But from a storyline perspective, what a massively poorly done match. Solo interferes for the 1,000th time. There was never a point in that match that I was ever convinced that Roman Reigns was going to lose. I mean, even for all the times that we've seen Roman Reigns have these title defenses, I thought that there might be a 1% chance he'd lose against Drew McIntyre. I thought that there might be a 1% chance that he might lose to LA Knight. Only 1%, probably 0.5%. But my goodness, man, for them to come out and put on it was sad. That fatal four-way was a waste of time, and I'm so disappointed in WWE for putting that on. It was poorly done, and there was never a point where Roman Reigns had any chance to lose that match. I mean, it was so obvious every pinfall was going to be interrupted until Roman, and then Roman Reigns hits one spear and nobody can kick out of it. I mean, where's the drama? This is the second most longest tenured pay-per-view in the history of your business, and you're going to sit up here. Actually, the third. They're right behind Survivor Series, who debuted in November in 1987, while Royal Rumble's first was 1988. But I digress. The point is, terribly done.
Yeah, I was not a fan of this match.
I'm so sad about this match. It was, I mean, wow. I mean, that match was a 5 out of 10, and that's pushing it.
I think they thought it was going. See, this is what would have helped the men's rumble if they would have had LA Knight, Randy Orton, just to add some star power names into it. Even AJ, that could have made a difference. But instead, we sacrificed 3 top players to Roman because we didn't want someone to get pinned. You know what I mean? Like, that was the weird thing. We went into this. Did I say it in the preview? I hope I did. I said AJ was getting pinned. Instead, I was like, this match is done.
You called that right on the money.
Yeah, AJ had to get pinned. Yeah, there was just a lot, man. 4-way match. Quills gave it 7 out of 10. I didn't hate it. It's kind of what Sean said. Here's the problem: when you have a heel be the champ for this long, you run out of finishes for them. This isn't 1988 with like Ric Flair. Like, and even with Flair, he probably, if you went back and watched WCW television, do you think you would be interested in the Flair run in modern day? Like, modern day fans, would they be interested in that? Like, to watch him?
Yeah, probably not in modern day, no.
Yeah, it's just you run out of ideas. There's only so many times you could cheat, and then the solo thing is. I just think people are over it. I think it's a tiresome way for him to win. It's not that they're mad at Roman winning. They're tired of seeing, oh, here comes Solo again to save the day. You know.
I mean, literally, when LA Knight hit the Blood Force trauma, I knew that Solo Sikoa was laying in the wings. It wasn't even. Excuse me. I take that back. When Randy Orton hit the RKO, I knew that Solo was laying in. It wasn't even a question. And that's what I'm talking about predictability. And I understand the point that you've made in the past, and I'm not going to dispute that. But my goodness, man, I mean, this match was really, really predictable. You knew that AJ was going to hit a Styles Clash. You knew that LA Knight was going to hit a Blood Force Trauma. You knew that Randy Orton was going to hit the RKO, and you knew that there would be a situation where the referee would either get knocked down or one of the other guys would break up the pin, and that Roman would win. I mean, this whole narrative that Roman only has a 25% chance to retain the title. Don't insult my intelligence, man. This is going to be a blow away, easy to understand what's going to happen type of match. And that's exactly what happened. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, Guy Will Gamble is going to throw it up here, and he said with Orton would have been better, at least given some pause to Reigns auto winning. The Fatal 4-Way match, 7 out of 10. Roman Reigns retains as usual. Solo, the rinse, lather, repeat spot. McKinney said the match was okay, but how many times can we see the same finish? That was what the issue was. You had to get creative in how they won, and they did it. Then they tried to justify Solo's interference by continuously saying it's a no DQ Fatal 4-Way. I'm tired. Please, Cody. Yeah, it's rough out here, man.
Yeah, man.
It's rough out here with it. I don't really have too much else to say. Reigns wins, LOL. I thought that you could have had more people in that match. I didn't see why keeping LA Knight out was so important to them. Let's move into the U.S. title match. By the way, the production, they had some different camera angles, and I got to give it up to WWE, and I'm going to give some props to AEW on the side. If you don't listen to our Dynamite reviews on Wednesday, check them out, 10:10. Eastern Standard Time, usually we start them, but the production values here from the Rumble, I thought they had some really cool, like, I don't know if these are drone shots or what, but I thought that they looked really good.
They did. Those are shots from the ceiling. You know, technology is very advanced where, you know, the cameras are 100 feet in the air, but yet can come down to this close and give you these unique angles. I thought they did a tremendous job from a production standpoint.
Yeah, and listen, they're not beyond. The Rumble countdown clocks had advertising on them. They did a lot of different stuff that I wasn't used to seeing.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about the mighty dollar. You know what I'm saying? Every time the clock got down to 4, it was C4 for the C4 energy drink. I mean, it was all right, I guess.
Yeah. U.S. title match. I don't know how you felt about this one going into it. This was based on Kevin Owens having an injured hand. Logan Paul didn't care. He was showing out. They got some great shots of Logan Paul flying. He's another one, though. I would like to see him there more. He's a great wrestler, but we haven't seen him defend the title since he won it. I couldn't tell you even how long ago that was.
Yeah, it was October. It was October, and that's a long time ago, and I'm not happy about that. I think it's one of those situations where it's like, okay, you know what? We obviously know he has a limited schedule, but you can't have a champion be a limited, have a limited schedule. But then again, Roman Reigns is that guy, right? And let's not even put it all on Roman Reigns. This whole thing got started with Brock Lesnar. So, that's a blueprint of having a champion not appear on television every week. I think a champion should show up at every pay-per-view, but that's, my personal soapbox that I'll just stand on from all the way over here. Logan Paul's a tremendous athlete. Okay, he's earned my respect as a performer. I'll never say he's just another celebrity because he's earned that. He's earned the right to be called a legitimate WWE superstar. However, I would have loved to see Kevin Owens take the title. We know that it's going to end up leading to a title defense at WrestleMania, where the rumors are that LA Knight is going to be the next champion. But Kevin Owens deserves better. The decision of a disqualification was very clunky to me. I did not like that at all, and it's just the theme of the night. I think outside of Bayley winning the Royal Rumble, the whole night was fairly predictable. And quite frankly, I might even venture to say, you can agree or not, or the chat can agree or not, I venture to say that the whole Royal Rumble, with the exception of Bayley, was a little bit boring.
I don't know how I felt about this match. There was some interference, so it looks like Austin Theory and everyone else, they've been hanging with Logan Paul, so they provided him with some brass knuckles in this. Kevin Owens was able to wrestle them away with his veteran-like skills, but as the ref was getting ready to count 3, he noticed the knuckles on Kevin Owens' hands. How could he? This finish, I have a lot of 94 Rumble and 95 Rumble references for this show. This was IRS, Razor Ramon for the Intercontinental Championship, where for a second, I remember I used to watch on the little blurry lines thinking, IRS is the Intercontinental Champion. Why did they? Oh, he got caught cheating. He backed right to the Razor's Edge, caught him, dropped him, won the belt right back. I'm okay with it. It's like a classic finish. If you haven't seen it, if you're a kid, I think you would think it's a great finish. We've seen it before.
Great.
I wasn't mad at it.
No, I respect that. Great is not where I would go with it. I think it was average to sub-average. You could see it coming. Either Logan Paul was going to get knocked out, and then and KO was going to get disqualified because KO wasn't going to be able to control himself, or Logan Paul was going to knock out KO with the brass knucks and win the match outright.
How did you feel when you first saw it, though, as a kid, when you saw it done, whether it was Flair or whomever?
I mean, my 7-year-old self enjoyed it, right? But we're grown men, you know what I'm trying to say? And we're looking for a little bit more now, as adults and fans of this industry. Like, my 7-year-old self was like, oh, thank God Razor got the title back. Like, yeah, okay. You know what I'm saying? That's fair. I'll give you that. I'll take you down the range of emotions about how Shawn Michaels came out with the bogus belt and knocked out Razor Ramon. And then
Whoa. He was the real Intercontinental Champion, you mentioned.
Fair enough. So when Shawn Michaels came out with the real Intercontinental Championship and knocked out Razor Ramon, and then IRS got the pin, and it was a shock factor for 7-year-old me to say, oh my God, IRS is the new Intercontinental Champion. Oh, thank God they overturned the decision and Razor Ramon got the title back. Okay. But you know what? In 2024, it's corny.
Yeah, I mean, and you would think by now, the thing that hurts is when I expect people sometimes to be, listen, dude, Kevin Owens has been around for how many years? How many times has he seen someone get caught? I don't mind it when it's like a newer guy, but when I'm like, you've been around a long time, bro, toss the knucks. Like, you've been a bad guy before. Right. Get rid of these. There we go. They could have added in something for it, but I get what they were doing there. They went for the drama play, which is fine. U.S. title match was abysmal. Quill says 6 out of 10 for me. Owens and Paul had some good wrestling here, but way too many extracurricular activities with the interference from Theory and Waller. The finish was trash, he said.
The pay-per-view was a dud. Let's call a spade a spade. The pay-per-view was a dud. And I'm going to get into the significance of number 30 as well, because number 30 in both Royal Rumbles were major disappointments.
Yeah. Maybe if you were a Liv fan, I guess, but was she 30 last year? See, I can't remember. All the Rumbles start to blend now with 2. That's another thing. I can't remember every stat now because you're trying to remember 2.
Yeah.
So you're like, I actually thought the pay-per-view was well done, BJ said. Other than long entrances, I didn't have a lot of complaints within the understanding of where we're heading. I enjoyed the match. Logan Paul is great, Chris says.
Logan Paul, professional wrestler, no question about that.
Somebody said Regal and the power of the punch. I remember when he cut that promo the first time. Was it Edge? He beat Edge, and that's what he said. He was like, it was the power of the punch. I love the finish. It was different. The ref catching. You got me on that one. I looked up a little bit. I popped. The ref catching the baby face and having to make the right call of a DQ. It's seeing the ref doing what's right and not being a heel makes it weird. Yeah, that's true. IRS would have pawned that belt. He was giving it to the $1 Million Man probably.
There you go.
Taking it back. Now, I wouldn't call it boring. I love the finish for this match. Like I said, I'm okay with it, but I can also understand why Sean was like, Yeah. Chris LeClaire says, Bailey, what's up, Chris? You might be a little behind catching up with us. Hub, it was dull. You think they played it safe?
That's a strong question, Easy. I think you might be onto something. I think that this pay-per-view came across as let's just get through the night. That's what it came across to me as. It came across to me as, which is, by the way, Easy and chat, I think that's the wrong mentality. They should have tried to knock this pay-per-view out of the park for the very same reason. Because of all the drama and all the things that have been going on outside of the world of professional wrestling, from outside the ring, that is, man, oh man, they should have tried to knock this pay-per-view out of the park. This pay-per-view was a C minus. And that's really disappointing for this time of year, because at the end of the day, when you're talking about a DQ finishing United States title match, you're talking about a predictable and, quite frankly, boring fatal four-way match. Bayley winning was the highlight of the night. And then you have, we'll get into the men's Royal Rumble in a minute. But at the end of the day, yes, Easy, I think that they were just trying to get through the night. That's a very sound assessment on your part.
I agree. Guy Will Gamble said finish made Owens look like a bozo.
Guy Will Gamble, 100%.
I like the finish. Just wondering KO Mania's future. That's a good question, Sean, because I walked away from this worried about LA Knight's future in that U.S. title match, because I'm like, it seems like they're sticking with Kevin Owens. Unless it's Kevin Owens and Knight, or is this going to be some type of four-way, a ladder match? I don't know what they're going to try and pull here.
KO is going to be fine. LA Knight's going to be fine. I actually predict a multi-person match for the U.S. title at WrestleMania.
Interesting. So you think just LA Knight's just going to transfer over and get himself into like another four-way or something, perhaps?
I think LA Knight, it could be a situation where, similar to AJ Styles, where maybe LA Knight is stepping on Kevin Owens' toes and Kevin Owens doesn't like it, and then we'll see what happens from there. But yes, 100%. I think it's going to be a multi-person match for the United States Championship, and I think that LA Knight and Kevin Owens are going to be involved.
E says Regal was wearing jewelry, knuckle dusters. It wasn't a weapon. It was.
I agree. I don't know what they're talking about. William Regal's never broken a rule in his entire career.
What was it? The Queensberry rules matches they used to do. Stop right now, Sean. And he can't win a championship match at Royal Rumble. Oh, that is true. Kevin Owens has always taken the L. Did he beat Moxley that one time, or excuse me, Dean Ambrose years ago?
I don't know. That's a good question. I have to look that up.
Easy's agreeing with you. Where's the color? The surprises. Remember when they rallied out of the locker room when Stone Cold walked out? Man, don't get me started. Waller annoys my soul. Chris says him coming out at number 3 and talking on the mic bored me. There is something about him that he's got the Miz thing. Like, I want to punch him in the face. Like, he's just got a punchable face. I'm like, I do not. That's what makes him a good heel, though. Like, he just has that punchable face when I see it.
I'm going to run with your analogy. The Miz was annoying enough to be somewhat cool, which is why he ended up in the main event of WrestleMania. Grayson Waller, to Chris's point, annoys the life out of me in the worst possible way. I don't want to see him get hurt in the ring. I want to see him twist an ankle and not wrestle at all.
Wow.
I said twist an ankle. I didn't say anything catastrophic. But yes, if he missed a show or two because of a twisted ankle, I would not be mad.
I like him in theory. I feel like they're playing the game of who's the better babyface, who's going to turn on who.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just one of those. Hey, Quills, this is the other thing I wanted to ask you about. Match order. I think the match order was bad for this show. I think the world title match should have not went on second. I think they needed one more match. They needed a buffer match and to cut time from something.
That's the problem, Conrad. Number one, you're right. Quills, I agree. But check this out. It turned out that the world title match was the buffer match. That's why the pay-per-view was so bad.
Yeah, I just thought maybe you should have added maybe a tag team match, maybe an NXT match in the middle of there. You didn't need all that time. There was a lot of wasted time.
I got to disagree with you. That's not true, only because the pay-per-view did end at 11:45. They were right in regards to 4 matches were enough because it was going to be a long night, right? So you couldn't add any more matches. The problem is that the world title match, undisputed title match, became the buffer by accident. Let me tell you something. One of the worst world title matches I've seen in a long time. It was bad. It was really, really bad.
And you brought me to another comment I have too with 4-ways. I think that the WWE tropes of triple threats at 4-ways is another formula that hurts. I would like to see that redone, or let's be creative when we get to these. You don't see in WWE triple threats the triple headlock or triple sleepers or stuff like that. They didn't try anything to be different. Like, what can we do to be different in this match? Instead, it's the clothesline, roll out the ring, minutes. Wait for your turn. Clothesline. Okay, now it's just you two. It's basically 2-on-2, so people can focus on that instead of what's happening. And instead, I would rather it be, how can we incorporate all 4 guys to do stuff? I'm not saying do Tower of Dooms, because that's not one of my favorite things. But what I'm saying is, can you incorporate or do something different here? Maybe like a little do-si-do, roundy round. Oh, we both double clothesline those two, then we start fighting, and you could just do some different things. You know what I mean? Triple team a guy.
That sounds like a good idea.
You know what that means. You know what that means. Grayson has that Young Miz thing going on. Yeah, I said what I said, Chris, but Kyred did see it.
Deanna, he has that Young Miz thing going on, but not as good.
Bailey will be on Raw tonight. Waller got that SWAT boss man X-Pac heat. Quadruple test of strength. Dude, something. Do something different. Let's do ECW elimination style rules. That was no matter how bad ECW got, the one thing they did was they always did matches right. Eliminate people. Then there's no question that you lost this match. Not the whole, oh, I was spared from the pin. The match should have began with a Shield powerbomb on Reigns. The women stole the energy of the show, and the rest was buffer until the men's rumble, and people were still quiet in certain areas. The last 6 men, the crowd came back to life. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you on that. Let's go through this here. Jimmy and Jay Uso started off. Was Jay first? Yeah, it was Jay, then Jimmy came out. The blue, the red, how did you feel, Sean, knowing it had to feel good knowing that Jay was at least going to get the Iron Man performance?
How much more over can you be? How much more over can you be? My God, man. Jay Uso had that building rocking. How much more over can you be? This makes me so mad. So mad. Since the summer, bro. I'm a relax. Thank you, M. Leezy. I agree. I'm a relax because I'm gonna get started all over again. To answer your question, I liked the face-to-face with Jimmy at the beginning. It was cool. All I'm going to say is, as it relates to a singles title, how much more over can you be? It's getting to the point now where it's getting to become blatantly disrespectful. It's starting to become blatantly disrespectful at this point. That this guy is not even being considered for a singles championship. He's going to be facing he's going to be facing Bronson Reed tonight. And you know what? He's probably going to lose. And Bronson Reed is going to have an opportunity to be a singles champion before Jey Uso. But I digress. Woosah. All I'm going to say is, how much more over can you be? Unbelievable. But anyway, I like I like Jey Uso's performance. He did go a long way in the Rumble. It's one of those things where it's bittersweet because you knew he wasn't going to win. But yes, obviously I'm a major Jey Uso fan. Justice for Jey Uso. I don't know what else to say.
Listen, not mad at it.
I know you think I'm bugging out. I know you do. It's okay.
No, I don't have an issue with that. There's something to do with Jey Uso. I was more perplexed by, you like that word?
Yeah.
I was more perplexed by, why would you have Jimmy and Jay start off the Rumble if they're a match? Because I felt like you kind of gave away the juice to the match, but maybe they wanted to test it first before they booked it.
You're very accurate on what you're saying, Conrad. I think that was a test the water moment.
It was just weird because I hope you don't. Sometimes when you test things, you also test out the first time reaction. Now everyone's like, oh, we saw this before.
Yeah,
Get to it. What's the big deal?
I agree with you, bro.
One of the first surprises that we had out,
Andrade back in the mix.
Number 4, Andrade El Idolo. What to say about Andrade, man? His AEW run could have been better. I think Andrade was a victim of not having the second show right away.
Mm-hmm.
Just not enough time to do things. And I think if they had the second show, maybe Andrade's run would have been different. But Andrade does have a spouse that works in WWE. Hey, Triple H, the system. I get it, man. I get it. Those NXT people are loyal to Triple H, and they might want to come back. I'm not mad at it. I thought Andrade put on a heck of a performance, and I also think that people should be sending salutes to Tony Khan, because Tony Khan could have really did him dirty on his way out.
True.
Really
so
could.
For that, right? I agree.
Let me see here. BJ said, not poking any fun at your Hubs. I got nothing but respect, but I hope one of us grabs your clips of admiration for Jay and send it to him. Your support for him is so strong. Hey, you guys can do that. You could clip Sean and send it to him. Jay Uso, I think, would appreciate it.
Yeah, BJ, we appreciate you. I appreciate you, my G. I have nothing but respect for you, man. I know I get off on this Jay Uso soapbox. I've been on this soapbox since the summer. I just it makes no sense.
But Sean, you're not. Here's my thing with it. Yeah. I just know how they react and how they think. Yeah. As a company when it comes to booking wrestling.
Yeah.
You're not wrong in what you're saying. You're the guy in the room. You're Paul Heyman in the room. Guys, what if? No, I'm being serious. Like, and sometimes I heard that they don't like that. I hope that the mindset has changed. But hey, what if? What if Jay Uso became the world champ? Or what if Jay Uso became the Intercontinental? Listen, the people are bouncing up and down. Someone's buying them Yeet shirts. Someone's buying them. That's what I tell people. Who used to listen to N Street, Backstreet Boys, Creed, any corny band that you could think of that people used to say as a kid? And I used to always be the one, yo, listen, dog, it ain't me, but someone's buying them CDs. It ain't me, but somebody's got them.
Right.
So, I mean, how much can you hate on the person, man? Great. If you were perplexed, Hub was super perplexed. Yeah, just weird. I like that.
I'm just seeing 40,000 people go nuts for this guy, and I'm like, my God, you know what I mean?
let me show you that crowd one more time.
I mean, it's crazy. Like, 40,000 people just losing their minds for Jay Uso. I'm like, man, what am I missing here, bro?
You know what? I want to give another standout performance to someone who I thought delivered big time. It's time. Carmelo Hayes is ready. Trick Williams also came out on SmackDown. They have the Shawn Diesel effect. And I hope Shawn is teaching Carmelo how to prepare for the Shawn and Diesel effect, because I'm worried for Carmelo in the short term, because Trick Williams is getting loved, but we all remember how it turned out in the end for that situation as well.
Yeah, sure.
And they both could end up winning. Well worth it. But good to see Carmelo Hayes in here. Braun Breaker sounds like he's getting the call up. What we heard.
You gotta put the camera on me, bro. Conrad, you were right.
You want a friend? Get a dog. Sorry, I gotta just do Steiner promos.
Real talk, man. Like, I'm not a fan. It's not any secret that I'm not a fan of Braun Breaker, but Braun Breaker represented at the Royal Rumble. I mean, I'm not gonna cap, bro. Braun Breaker represented. I don't know where that came from. I don't know. Maybe I just haven't seen it before, and like I didn't calculate it in my mind. But watching this guy, he did a great job. I was shocked.
Yeah, bro, he came in and crushed. I don't want to get too deep into it, but I thought Pat McAfee's entrance was a waste. I know what they were trying to do. Mm-hmm. It didn't work for me. I felt like you didn't need anybody to do like a Drew Carey type of entrance where, oh, I'm scared, I'm running out. You didn't need that in this. It wasn't necessary. So it was a waste of a spot that you were like, oh, that could have been Chad Gable. Oh, that could have been someone else.
Right.
But whatever. And I get it. You need to add some flavor into the Rumble, right? So they did that spot. But I think this spot was supposed to be for the person who was rumored to face Gunther at WrestleMania, to look strong and do all that stuff. And instead, I think he's getting the spot now. He's getting the call up, which he's better off because he's been toiling away down in NXT. I feel like he should have been called up at this point, like for a year.
I think
so. It's been.
I mean, I still, the jury's still out. It was just one night, but I mean, he did a really good job on Saturday.
Yeah, he's gonna have to figure it out. He's still got NXT matches to do too. Don't get me wrong here. People are saying Andrade looked sharp. Andrade did good. It's going to be interesting to see where he goes on this title run. We might end up hearing about him on Raw tonight. I've heard. Champion who you love, man. You got to do it so they hear it. That's true, Beach. That is true. Andrade coming back was a good surprise. Braun Breaker did his thing, but the crowd was mainly crickets until the last 6 men in the Royal Rumble. Rhodes, Priest, Punk, Gunther, Zayn, and McIntyre. Yeah. Tell Jey Uso to give The Rock his punches back. Jimmy and Jay will open WrestleMania 40 night 2. I do the sneaking into the other show, interfering and costing them the title opportunity, then Brawl in Perth. Interesting. T Ferg, I see you in the chat. What's good? Appreciate you. I'm going to disagree with what you said here about WWE and AEW. We can get into that when we talk AEW, because after this we're gonna have like a little open forum about AEW. That's what me and Sean kind of just agreed to do instead of trying to make it about a specific subject. Right. So we'll get into that.
And of course, for all in-depth AEW news, make sure you tune into the Everything Pro Wrestling channel every Wednesday night at 10:05 Eastern, featuring Conrad and Derek.
Thank you. My guy Derek, wherever he is right now. Mm-hmm. CM Punk came out next. It's just so sad and depressing knowing what we have to talk about afterwards with this. Yeah, it sucks, man. It sucks. Punk came out
confirmed about the severity, but it doesn't sound good.
Yeah. It came down to the final people. I saw someone talking about Priest. Priest was in the mix. That's fine. He has senior money in the bank right now. I don't know when they're going to do it. They got to pick a time. I feel like they're using that as their back pocket if they need a moment for a night or something, though. They're trying to hang on to that as long as they can. They had Cody in there. Sami Zayn and Drew seems to be a set match for Mania. I was worried. I'm still worried about how KO fits into things, but like you said, maybe there's a multi-man U.S. title match that they could fit into. It comes down to Punk and Cody. They're Luger and Bret Hart. I actually called Punk's number beforehand. I think it was like at the beginning. I'm like, yo, what did Bret Hart come out as in '94 Royal Rumble? And then someone was like, why? And I was like, that's gonna be Punk's number. 27. Boom. Punk comes out at that number. Dang it though. And Cody was Mr. USA. I thought he would have played the role of Luger in this, but I got it wrong. Cody blocks the GTS, tosses CM Punk over the top rope. Cody is once again going to WrestleMania. He has won the Rumble, but we have seen this story before, Sean. He points to the sign. He does the little elite tribute. He throws up the too sweet, the Bullet Club stuff, and he did that last year too. Cody is the first back-to-back winner in quite some time.
26 years.
Yeah.
Look. Look, first of all, let's get to the seriousness of the matter. CM Punk on going over the top rope. I did see the spot that Conrad pointed out to me about the DDT from Drew McIntyre causing some issues with CM Punk's arm, but I think it was confirmed that the major damage happened. If you guys watched the elimination of CM Punk by Cody Rhodes, unfortunately, CM Punk's arm got caught on the bottom rope. And if you guys are not looking for it, it's very easy to miss. But when you look for it, it's very easy to see that CM Punk's arm got caught on the bottom rope at the elimination portion of the match. And in my opinion, hyperextended it or whatever you want to call it. And it turned into a potentially torn tricep. It's just beyond the realm of understanding that something like this, something catastrophic like this can happen. We've been talking about Seth Rollins all week about what's he going to do, but we've always said, I kind of gave you guys kind of the medical background about an MCL injury and the severity and how it could be something that you can come back from in 6 to 8 weeks. And yes, it happened where it was enough time where Seth could possibly recover, which is why Seth is still in the mix. But I promise you, you cannot recover from a torn tricep in 6 weeks. You can't. So, I mean, if the rumors are true, CM Punk's going to miss WrestleMania, and that's massively disappointing.
And call me weird, Sean, but I feel like all of his injuries have been weird. Like the foot thing, that was probably like a freak accident. Like normally, because he even tried to wrestle during, he was like, yeah, my foot just felt weird. And then he was like, oh, I guess I shattered it. Like he didn't even know. He tried to do stuff and he was like, why can't I do it?
100%.
And the tricep, he did a dive to the outside. He did a tope right out to the floor. How do you tear your triceps on a tope? Like that's just a weird thing. And then a DDT with Drew or the spot over the top. I don't know which one did it, but he tore his triceps from that. And I was like, what? How? Just very odd. And maybe it's the body breaking down. I saw people saying, oh, Punk was always injury prone. CM Punk was not always injury prone.
He wasn't. He was very durable for many years.
Yeah, I just think that Punk's stuff is catching up with him, and it's the start-stop wrestling thing. He's suspended. Okay, we need to talk to him. Oh, we have to do an investigation. Oh, he's going back to WWE. Okay, he's going to do 2 house show matches. Like, he's not wrestling in between. So either he's doing this and he's going to continue doing it, or maybe he needs a different regimen. Maybe he's lifting too heavy. I don't know what to say about this. It's not really my business either, but I just feel bad for the dude. You know what I mean? As a fan of his, you know that's where my bias is, as people in the chat know. But it just
because there's conflicting reports about whether it happened during the Drew DDT, and then when maybe he got exasperated going over the top rope. If, like I said, if you see him going over the top rope, you'll see where the arm was compromised. But the Drew DDT may have done it. No, I don't think it matters. That's the bottom line. Whether it was a Drew DDT, whether it was a spot during the match, whether it was him going over the top rope, the bottom line is CM Punk is out, that's. I mean, it's tragic, Conrad. I mean, Survivor Series was a night that we will never forget. It was epic. On another sub-average pay-per-view, in my opinion, that moment brought it up to a level of a B+, A- pay-per-view, and then just because of that 2 minutes of CM Punk's music playing. And you fast forward 2 months and he's out. I mean, the whole world knew it was all about Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. And the worry, can you believe it, Conrad? The worry was whether Seth Rollins would make it. And now, wow.
There's pros and cons to a lot of this. Like Cody winning, I don't want to take away from Cody's moment. Cody did point to Roman. We've knew since the 3 count hit last year what they were doing, and they're going back to Cody, Roman Reigns, WrestleMania. No issues with that for me, at least. Like that's what I've expected, fine and dandy. But Seth being hurt, now Punk being hurt, you know what I mean? So they're not going to be around for the buildup, I assume. What is happening? You have absentee champions on SmackDown. 2 of your top singles titles are just held by people who aren't around a lot of the time.
And while I'm on the air, I want to give respect to Conrad and give acknowledgement to a good point that he made. Even if there was a chance, a slim chance, and quite frankly, from a medical standpoint, a non-existent chance that CM Punk could make it to WrestleMania, he wouldn't be able to get to the Elimination Chamber to win the spot in the match. How if CM Punk does make it to WrestleMania, how's he going to be justified as the challenger for the title? How's that going to be worked into the rotation? It's really a sad situation. Like I said, the rumor is a torn tricep. All I'm saying is that if it's a torn tricep, you cannot recover from a torn tricep in 6 weeks. I am telling you that plain and simple. If it's not a torn tricep, then there's a chance. But if it's a torn tricep, it's over.
Yeah, he's gonna have to sit out. And my fear is when Punk sits out, Punk stews. Punk doesn't. I think Punk doesn't like being at home or only having to do rehab. But there's nothing right now for him to be upset about too much. You know what I mean? Unless you want to play the storyline up that he's going to come back and be mad that he lost the Rumble. That was my big moment. That was my story, and I don't get a chance to tell it. But now you have another one for Mania next year, possibly, right? McKinney says it was a spot where Punk and Cody were both bending over the top rope oddly. I bet that's when he got hurt, with him saying he didn't have to come to lose to Dusty's kid was savage. He didn't come here to lose to Dusty's kid. CM Punk actually hurt his arm with Drew's DDT. Punk was doing push-ups in the ring to stretch it out, which is when he notified the refs that his arm was hurt. They got videos up now. It's sad. Yeah, because that's what he did after it too with with Moxley. He did push-ups right after he did that.
Well, it definitely I'm with you, but it definitely got exasperated. Did you get a chance to look at the elimination?
I didn't see the elimination fully. Honestly, I missed it when it was live too. Like I had to go back to see what happened because I just turned my head for a second. I was like, wait, how did he get him?
Right. If you guys notice, I've been looking back and forth. I'm watching the elimination right now, or I was watching the DDT, which I see where people would think that was part of the problem or caused the problem. But if you guys fast forward to the end of that match in the elimination, it definitely exasperated it. So, like I said, who cares though? At the end of the day, it doesn't even really matter. The bottom line is CM Punk is hurt, and it's wild, Conrad, that we were so concerned about Seth Rollins, and look what happened. Look what happened.
Yeah. Seth looks like he should be able to come back, is what it sounds like they're prepared for. Let me see here. Do you think they called an audible on the finish to have Cody win instead, even if he was still going to make it to the main event of Mania? I don't think so. I think Cody was playing to be the winner.
I'm going to say no for a really silly reason. You ready to hear it? You're going to laugh. I'm going to say no because I don't think they had those T-shirts of saying Royal Rumble winner printed out if they didn't think Cody wasn't going to win. That's just me. That's just a silly reason.
All right. One day you're gonna be walking around in some city on vacation.
Yeah, with the CM
Punk Royal Rumble winners, a whole family with them. Yeah, they were giving these out.
Baltimore Ravens, 2024 AFC champions. I know that does happen, by the way.
It does. It does. There were Buffalo Bills ones in third world countries, Super Bowl winners, and I was just like, that sucks.
Yeah.
Let me see. Pro Wrestling Shoe said no guy. Cody was always the decision. They literally had tees printed. Yeah, there you go. With Sean
wow. See, Jesse called it right there. I was saying the same thing.
Someone's saying tournament. I don't think they need to do a tournament. But Sean, what is the World Heavyweight title match for the title now at WrestleMania? You got the pin right now.
It's Gunther versus Seth Rollins.
Can I pop people's bubble on that? Or I won't say pop a bubble. Can I put an asterisk next to it to make you think a little harder though?
Mm-hmm.
Why hasn't Gunther been on a lot of the international pay-per-views?
Maybe he can't go.
He can't travel to international countries right now.
Oh, wow.
Where are a lot of the PLEs going to be? Do you want to put the world title on him? Because then that's another absent champion who can't be around.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Let me eliminate, no pun intended, the thought of a tournament. Shout out to Mike Fiesel for the idea, but no tournament because Seth is not the problem. The title's not going to be vacated because Seth's going to make it to WrestleMania. I don't care if Seth has to sit out all the way until WrestleMania weekend. Seth is going to make it to WrestleMania. The question is finding a challenger. Now, your point you just came up with, Conrad, about him not being able to travel, Gunther that is very eyebrow-raising because now you have a serious problem because if CM Punk's not going to make it because of injury, and if Gunther can't make it because of travel restrictions, then who are you talking about?
That is true.
Well, I'm kind of asking you too. Who pops into your head?
I don't know as of right now who else you could put into that spot. You got Seth. I mean, you could do an amazing match with Gunther, but is that where you want to beat him? That's the other question. Because I was thinking instantly, my mind went to Hogan Warrior. Like he says, I see titles on the line. You put your title on the line, and we're gonna find out who's really the better person between you and me.
Title would be dope. I mean, but to your point though, you just talked a tremendous point about Gunther's travel restrictions.
I know other people are saying Drew and Sammy get mixed in, but Drew's also operating without a contract. Do you want the risk?
Can I say it without you getting mad at me, Conrad?
Go ahead.
Can I say Jey Uso?
He's also on the list.
I'm getting there. And everybody's going to think I'm fanboying again. I'm just being real. Can I say Jey Uso with a straight face?
No, it's a possibility. Look, think about this. If they're going to do a chamber, not just for Rhea's title, but let's say they do one for this. Who are you putting in there? I think Gunther can't. Dang it, he can't be there if they're doing one.
To your point, Gunther wouldn't be able to go to the Elimination Chamber.
So you got Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, Drew. I think Bronson Reed. I think Bronson was going to challenge for the title. He was going to challenge Seth for the title, and then plans got scrapped.
Okay.
Dang, I'm trying to think of what else we could do here. 2 more people for Raw.
Who'd you say? Drew, Jay.
I'll say Chad Gable and Ricochet. You got to give two people a chance who probably normally wouldn't get a chance in like a world title spot.
I'll say Drew. I'll say Jay Uso. I'll say Sami Zayn. And you know who I'll go with? I'll go with somebody from SmackDown. Maybe they cross somebody over like Bobby Lashley.
Interesting. And he's feuding with Karrion Kross. Man, yo, I'm worried about him, man. There is no steam behind them.
None.
I'm just like, can we get Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits back to what they were doing? Because they were doing fine before.
And to McKinney's point, which I totally agree with, at this point, let's just cash this thing in, please. Because now, let me tell you something. Damian Priest has to be the odds-on favorite to go into the spring as the world champion with everything that's been going on.
That is true. That is true.
This thing has been put into shambles, bro. This thing has been put into shambles.
But look at since the beginning of the year, we have went from thinking bad things about the WWE Championship match to now we're at the world title match, and things just flipped. Like all the scripts have been flipped. You thought it was this guy, but then it was this match. Then you think Rock's in. Nope, Rock's out. Now you've got, it's Seth. Nope, it's not Seth. It's Punk.
Assuming everything legally works out, Brock Lesnar. And that makes me sick to say. That makes me sick to my stomach. Assuming the legal stuff gets panned away, which is a big question mark, it would probably Brock Lesnar.
I don't think you can. I don't know.
No, I'm saying it's a big assumption. It's a massive assumption. But I'm just saying we're talking about who could be assuming, again, big assumption that the legal stuff gets panned out. Brock, you're telling me they wouldn't plug Brock Lesnar back in there?
I don't want to get too deep into it, but I think they got bigger fish to fry than that.
You don't have to go into and I don't want.
No. But I just don't see it. What you're saying, I just don't see that being a possibility right now.
Okay.
Just because I noticed on that Legends video game cover, they kind of covered his face now.
Yes, they did.
Over it. So you got to see at this point. Just let Priest win, cash it in. I'm sorry, I'm catching up, guys. Win it, turn him babyface. You can put him and Drew for the title. You could. I don't know. I don't think Sheamus. Maybe they trade Sheamus. He was on SmackDown, right? Does the draft even? What draft are we talking about? What's wrong with me? There is no draft. Sheamus could come over, I guess. I understand that. Then Triple H is gonna have to come up with something interesting. In the chamber, do Jay, Priest, Sammy, Breaker, and Bronson. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know if I put Braun in there to lose, though, that early.
Yeah, Emily, I understand what you're saying. What we need to do is we need to focus on what Conrad's been saying for a year, which is draft. What draft? Take the draft out of your mind. At this point, all hands are on deck. Bobby Lashley, everybody's on the table. If you got to bring Jimmy over from SmackDown, Solo Sikoa, everybody's on the table at this point. I mean, all bets are off, in my opinion.
Yeah, you gotta just try to make this work. So you're basically gonna have Rollins technically have beaten Brock at WrestleMania 3 times.
Terrible. I'm not saying that's what I want to happen. That's the last thing in the world I want to happen. What I'm trying to say is WWE's a little out of luck in this. Let me tell you, bro, we don't even know if Seth Rollins is going to make it to WrestleMania. There's no guarantee about that.
Your mic cut out. Sean, your mic cut out a little bit for whatever you said.
You didn't hear me, bro?
No.
Okay, I'm back?
Yeah, you're back.
Thank you, bro. There's no guarantee Seth Rollins is going to make it to WrestleMania. We're hoping that he does. He's probably gonna gut his way through. But what happens if Seth has a setback? This thing is bad, bro. This thing is bad. Right now, we have no challenger or champion 100% going to WrestleMania on Raw. This is wild.
Yeah, this is a thing, man. This is a thing. And like I said, you may have to prepare. Sorry, Jimmy and Jay, that match ain't happening. It's about to be Jay Uso in a 4-way, or maybe it's, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to have to pull out the stops. And maybe this leads to, hey, Bailey main events night 1, or maybe they're going to say Rhea Ripley, and I'm assuming it's going to be Becky Lynch. Rhea and Becky, because they're going to do some type of elimination chamber match for that championship too. I'm assuming we're getting 2 there. So I don't know, man. This is a rough spot.
And by the way, the odds-on favorite to win that match would probably be Seth Rollins retaining the title. How sad is that? And I love Seth Rollins, but as far as the drama of WrestleMania and a possibility of a new champion, you might have Seth Rollins retain.
So Matt asked, who does Gunther get at WrestleMania? I was with what McKinney said.
No idea.
my plan was, like I said, the substitute was they got rid of Brock, so I think that they would slide in Braun Breaker into that spot instead and have him have the match. Now the question is, do you have Braun Breaker beat Gunther again? I mean, his line is going to be, "I'm the last guy who beat you, and I'm going to take this title from you again." But if you want to keep Gunther strong, have him beat him. At this point, BJ said, "Do you go back to pre-Punk plans?" Do you have pre-Punk plans? Like, there's a lot to happen, and I think next week me and Sean will have a better idea of where they're going. But leading into Raw, there's more questions than answers tonight. So sign up for it.
I'm not happy about CM Punk. I'm not happy about Seth Rollins, but you know something? They've been riding on the edge of a lightning bolt for a long time in the worst possible way. And you know,
sounding like E right now. Did you see E's comment before? Where was it?
I missed it.
Nah, y'all been telling TK got nothing and WWE got nothing but stars. Fix that mania with them stars, bucko.
There you go. Because it's true, man. They've been riding on the edge of a lightning bolt for a long time. This is what happens. Karma's a real thing. WWE's been playing with house money for a long time. And you know something? You treat people like animals, and sometimes a pin goes out. God bless Seth Rollins. God bless CM Punk. But you know something? What you gonna do now? That's the question. What you gonna do now?
You got to figure it out. That's the best thing I can say. And this is why the rosters have gotten bigger over the years too. Because I don't know if y'all remember, Sean, you remember, Dave Bautista going out every couple months was a thing back for a while, for a couple years there in 06, 07. He was always down and out and hurt. And I remember at one point we had so many people hurt that they were calling up people to come back. They were like, "Yo, I need Tatanka, I need Heidenreich, whoever." They were taking anybody. They were calling people up because they had to fill out that SmackDown roster, even with ECW guys. So they're in a position right now that they got to figure out, what are we doing and how are we going to move forward.
And let me tell you something right here and now, and people are going to think I'm crazy, but check this out. Chat, feel me on this or not. Conrad, feel me on this or not. Cody Rhodes fans, y'all better be lucky that it was in the plans for Cody Rhodes to call out Roman Reigns at the event at that moment in time. Because if Cody Rhodes had just pointed to that WrestleMania sign, Conrad, hear me out. If Cody Rhodes had just simply pointed to that WrestleMania sign and that was it, instead of turning around and pointing to Roman Reigns' luxury suite, it might be Cody Rhodes going for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. Now they're kind of locked in because they've already had Cody call out Roman Reigns. But if Cody had never called out Roman Reigns, you don't think there might have been a chance they would have sat down with Cody Rhodes this morning and say, "Hey, listen, man, Punk is out. You want to get the World Heavyweight title?" I'm telling you. But thank God for Cody Rhodes fans, y'all don't got to worry about it, because thank God Cody Rhodes pointed at Roman Reigns. Because if they hadn't have, there would have been a very upset, because Cody would have came out tonight and challenged Seth Rollins, and that's on me, bro.
Well, I don't know what they're doing. Someone said, "What about Mordecai?" Listen, all I know is tonight I feel like DIY might become the tag team champions. They might just throw us a bone just to do something crazy and just be like, "Okay, we'll ride with that until next week, until we figure out what we're doing." Let me see here. We're going to get to Matt's comment. McKinney, you made me laugh. Matt says, or excuse me, M. Leezy says, "Here's also someone on SmackDown that needs to be moved to Raw, because if Cody wins, he's just going to SmackDown. So maybe they'll put KO or LA Knight into the world title picture, if not Jey Uso."
Possibly.
But you just protected LA Knight, and if LA Knight's not getting the title, I wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? I just talked about the temperature check. You can't do that multiple times.
That's a fact. I mean, I see what Emily's saying. There's the pros and cons with everything, bro.
Yeah, and if you wanted a great matchup, I'm sure you could pick Sami Zayn. Sure, you could pick Drew. But like I said, then that puts a pin in their plans. It puts a pin in possibly Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso. That maybe it's not the time to do the match. But then, how many times you going to call upon this man, like Sean said, and then you're not going to give him anything?
It's ridiculous.
How many times? You can't keep doing that. So, this has been interesting. What do you think, Sean? Should we just do a little open forum AEW?
Yeah, let's do a little open forum AEW. I like what Gamble had to say, too, about the possibility of Rollins calling out Cody to kind of reverse the curse and finish his story since Cody beat him 3 times in a row.
Touche. I'm just gonna flip it over to AEW real quick. So for the past 2 weeks, if you guys are following the AEW reviews, me, BJ, and Derek did a state of the AEW address, and I thought this would be a good time for like people just to get whatever is on their mind, off their mind when it comes to AEW. Thoughts, whatever you're feeling right now about the company as a whole. So whatever you want, we'll put them in the chat. We'll try to read some of these. Sean, I'm kicking it to you first, man. I would like to hear what you have to say.
I mean, AEW has been a little bit of a disappointment over the last few months. It's one of those things. It's kind of like where the rubber meets the road, and you you kind of look back and say, "Hey, how did we get here?" You know what I'm trying to say? Because there was a time that AEW was the hottest brand in the world, right? And now we're looking at it as kind of like a fledgling, almost a fledgling shell of its former self.
You gave me the revelation, bro. I will tell everybody it was live on air when it clicked in my head about the devil. And you were like, if it's not Punk,
right?
It nothing was good enough. And I feel like they're stuck at that point. It doesn't matter. I don't care how many 5-star matches they put on. I don't care how many debuts they have. They're winning the free agent game, technically. They've taken everybody, whomever, by their past relationships, but none of it's gonna be good enough until people start seeing a reason to come back to the shows. And I don't know what that is that's going to bring people back. I'm not even saying they deserve this. I don't understand what it's going to take to sway people back over there and be like, oh, AEW serious. Let's go.
Right. And I think one thing about AEW is that, when you have, like you said, these 5-star matches with the New Japan coming over and all these things happening, it's like, okay, it's great, but it's like, and thank you for bringing up the point about the Masked Man with Adam Cole. It's like that was arguably the biggest storyline in AEW history from a time frame perspective. And it kind of fell flat, right? So now where do you go from here? And I think it's been fledgling and going bad since before then. So it's like the Undisputed Kingdom. It's like, bro, like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, it's common knowledge that Murphy and Alistair want to leave, and Andrade left, and Cody left, and Jade Cargill is being prominently portrayed on WWE television, and CM Punk left, and it's like, what's going on here? Sting is about to be out the door. God bless him. Attendance is down. Edge's run has been, let's call a spade, disappointing. It hasn't really fallen into great graces, in my opinion. It was nice when he first arrived. It's great that he's getting another run. He won a title while he's been here, but I mean, Christian's out of his mind good right now, but it's not going to carry the whole business. So it's like, to me, AEW is really in a bad spot. And I called this as well, Conrad, and if you can remember, I said in the old WCW days when they came out in 1995 with Nitro, by the fifth calendar year, they were in trouble and they ended up going out of business. In 1993, when WWE came on the scene with Monday Night Raw, by its fifth calendar year, they were in dire straits financially, and only because they were able to outlast WCW, they were able to turn the ship around. Thank God for the Attitude Era, right? And now in the 5th calendar year of AEW, we're looking at terrible numbers. We're looking at bad attendance. We're looking at poor ratings. And we're looking at nothing that you can look at in the company right now that you can feel can dig them out of this hole. I don't know what they can do. I'm at a loss.
I think the numbers thing is an interesting perspective depending on who you talk to and listen to. Now, listen, I don't talk numbers all the time. I could. I'm a business nerd, truthfully. Like, if you guys don't know that, like, I love looking into all the business, SEC filings. I'm a true dork. Like, shout out to WrestleNomics. Like, I love reading that stuff. But other people, you too? No, what?
That's not being a dork. That's called being a smart business person. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, some people may say, like, get out of here, nerd. Just watch the shows. You know what I mean? But I enjoy reading that stuff. It's interesting to me. I can talk about it if people want to, but I don't do that on here because, number one, I think that sometimes that stuff can get a little boring. But it's interesting that Raw is going to Netflix for, what was it, 500 mil a year, whatever it was, right? Lots of money. They're going over to Netflix. What television ratings matter now? They don't. They don't in that situation, because if what we've been seeing for years is correct, Sean, the television diagram goes like this. It's a downward slope for people to watch. Why is it different for AEW and people expect them to go up on cable? Wouldn't that be the trend for everybody for the most part, unless you're football maybe?
Right.
It should be a downward slope. AEW is also in the middle of negotiating their next television deal. I tweeted Tony Khan late last night. I had a random thought in my brain about the AEW Fight Forever game. Make that part of your negotiations, bro. If you want WBD Games to start working on it, tell Warner Brother Games, WB Games, hey, I want y'all to work on this game too. I also want another television show, but Collision's going to stay, but I need Collision on a different day. And I need Ring of Honor to become the Rampage show. It's fine at 10 o'clock at night, but I need to get these guys television deals. I need to get them doing something. So can I please get that time? And we will put the archive on your app. Can we get our pay-per-views on HBO? Streaming is very important to them now. And I think that WWE deal should have them thinking we need to restructure. And I think it should have them say we need more money. It's going to be interesting to see what they are able to do for some of it. I see some people talking about the Undisputed Kingdom. Talon is mid at best. Malachi, did you see that rumor today? I have not watched Collision yet, anybody. So I'm going to try to go back and watch it the next day or two. I promise. Yeah, I have it recorded. Yeah. It did a bad number according to everybody. It was like 252 or whatever. I don't care about the numbers though. Like I said, on a weekly basis, if there's sports or something else on, I get it, guys. People are gonna watch different things. Malachi, Dave Meltzer coming out and saying that these guys didn't want to do a job, and then Buddy Matthews posted their record. He was like, "All I've done is jobs this year. What are you talking about?"
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. What's the issue here? I think getting away from Dave Meltzer and his mindset is also a good thing. I don't know if you caught this when we were talking about it, Sean, but did you see Meltzer's WCW 2000s comparison for AEW, the numbers they're reaching for attendance?
I did. It was groundbreaking.
It was disrespectful, I thought, too, though. He's playing a line. He's playing the line so he can jump both sides. If AEW does better, I put that news out and I told them, and then they corrected and they fixed it. They failed. I told them what to do. I told them they were going down that route of WCW 2000. No, bro. Like I said, in wrestling, this works like economics. Fans are always going to think one's up, one's down. When have you ever heard, man, WWE, WCW, and ECW were all doing so great at the same time? No one says that. No one ever says that. And it could be true. I think the year 1997 was great for all three companies.
It wasn't.
From a creative standpoint, I'm saying, like,
but it was outstanding.
But nobody says that it was good. They'll be like, oh, well, ECW was missing, blah, blah, blah. You never hear it. You can say positive things about all companies at the same time, but nobody does that. They choose to make it a battle, a war zone, per se. No pun intended.
But see, WWE and AEW need to do a better job of not falling into that narrative, and they have not done a good job of that. The first big moment we remember from AEW was Cody Rhodes using a sledgehammer on the throne. Then another element of something about war is when Sami Zayn mentioned AEW during a horrible question and answer segment on Raw. Like, if you don't want to, something that Miz said during a documentary that I thought was amazingly accurate was, if you don't want number 2 to become a factor, you don't mention number 2 on your television, period. That's what ties into the idea of war. If AEW was never mentioned, if Triple H wasn't talking about how using forbidden doors is a silly term, then nobody would reference or worry about that. But unfortunately, it continues to be this narrative of, you know what, WCW versus WWE, same way it's AEW versus WWE. It's always going to be a war, Conrad. Always.
Always. I saw people saying, fight forever, $40 at Walmart. Thank you, Joel, for advertising the Dynamite show. Appreciate y'all who show up for that. Here's one. Says Netflix will have Raw. Will they swear? Will they bleed? I don't think so. I don't think the product changes at all. Honestly, I think that they're going to stay on Mondays. Do you have a prediction for the day, Sean? I don't see why change if you're Netflix.
It being on any other day but Monday would be ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, unless they wanted to avoid the NFL, that would be my only thing thinking. Like, yeah, let's get away from that and let's do Tuesdays. But I don't know if that equals more money. Maybe TNA will make a comeback to watch. TNA's got the opportunity. The issue with TNA is I don't know how much they have to spend. Tony can outspend you. That's a big thing too. It's a bidding process thing. Like, Tony's got the bread to get people. People just have to want to be there.
Right.
The issue is the drawing power. WWE's got all the hype behind it right now, but that hype's going to fizzle eventually too. People have to remember that.
The problem is I don't see where AEW has what it takes to reload, even though I still say that they're about to debut the best wrestler alive today in Will Ospreay. It's an Edge main eventing in a war against New Japan doesn't sell tickets. You know what I'm saying? The undisputed Kingdom. It is mid. I love Adam Cole. This is corny. Even the name Undisputed Kingdom. So we're gonna take Undisputed Era, and we're gonna talk about the United. We're gonna talk about the Kingdom, and then we're gonna put them together and call them really okay. And you have the Ring of Honor 6-man tag belts and the AEW trios belts, and neither one get defended except once a month.
Well, I believe those are going to get unified. I think that's the storyline. I don't expect the Bang Bang Scissor Gang thing to last too long, but I think they're going to unify those belts and then make it that they just go back and forth. That's what I would do with them personally. Like, I don't like it. I think the trios division, Jesse was right about this. I didn't agree with him at first, but I think he was right. That trios division hurt their tag division.
Yes, it did.
Because it's just another tag team. You remember WCW back in the day? This is the US tag titles. Why do we have 2 sets of tag titles?
Right. I mean, but when the US tag titles were at their little history lesson, the US tag titles were popping for a little bit.
They had more teams back then, though. Yeah. That was when tag team wrestling was overloaded with great teams. McKinney said the product isn't bad. It's inconsistent. A lot of stories stop out of nowhere, then pop back up. I think that's him trying to tell long-term storytelling, saying like, yo, listen, we're going to walk away from this for a week or two, and then we're going to come back. It depends. I just think him and Triple H came out, and Triple H does what he was trying to do better than what Tony Khan succeeded initially because I don't even want to mention the name. The person who was running it during the years previously was not good at running it anymore. And it was old, lame, and it was tired. Tony Khan came in. He's a breath of fresh air. But now there's a new breath of fresh air who is there. And that's why it's so popular. And, let's give it a chance again. Now I'm back. You know what I mean? That's what it is. It's just the bad guy. The moment they mess up or they have something bad happens, Tony Khan has to capitalize. He has to say, we have the best writers, we have something, and that's what I think he needs. I think he needs to get 2 writers. I'm not saying a team, 2 people, 1 vision. This is what we're doing. Sean, how do you feel about the rankings coming back?
I think the rankings are stupid.
Why? Delve in a little.
What are you're ranking title contenders, but at the same time, there's no clear definitive reason about why you're putting it in place. There has to be a reason. What has there been an uprising about people not having correct title shots or title opportunities? Absolutely not. The product has become still. Focus on your storylines. Stop trying to. I appreciate you trying to turn it back into more sport than entertainment, but it's not working. It's not working. Swerve Strickland's the best thing you got right now. Tony Storm is the best thing you got right now. Hitch your wagon to those two young people and try and fix the ship. Have Tony Storm should be prominently featured every single week. Swerve Strickland should be prominently talked about every single week. Swerve Strickland's number 3 in the rankings for the world. So who cares?
I think those two have been featured heavily every single week. My issue with the rankings is you cannot have
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say you can't have an FTR situation again to where they're holding 3 belts and they've beaten everybody and they're number 1, but the Young Bucks are defending the belts against Jurassic Express or Top Flight this week.
To your point, that had nothing to do with the rankings. It was a ridiculous prospect to begin with. You know what rankings do? Rankings box you in, Conrad. When you say that Lex Luger is the number 1 contender for the WCW United States title, that means that the next pay-per-view, Lex Luger has to challenge Barry Windham for the United States title. But you know what? If Rick Steiner is the hottest wrestler in the game right now, Rick Steiner can jump those rankings and come up and challenge for the United States title because it's the best thing for business at this particular time. I don't need rankings to tell me who's the best. I know who's the best. I'm a fan. I watch the product. I know who should be in the title picture.
Right. I see the chat talk about some ECW. I used to get up at 2 a.m. to watch it too on a local.
And I want to say this to you too, Conrad, as somebody who's educated in this business. And I'm saying this almost rhetorically because the answer is no. Do you need the rankings to let you know who the best is?
No, I don't think you do. I think he's trying to keep his booking humble because sometimes people are like, well, didn't so-and-so just beat this person like a month ago? Why aren't they getting a shot? I get what he's thinking of and what he's trying to do. It works as long as everybody's cool with losing. The moment you have someone that's like, no, I'm not facing them right now. I want to do this. Oh, nope, I want to do something else. That's where problems begin to occur. And if we're not letting people lose, like if you're going to go in there and just say, I'm not agreeing with Tony's booking tonight, and I don't want to lose tonight. And Tony's going to pacify them. We're using big words tonight here. SAT words. Pacify them, then it's not going to work. Then get rid of this system. I was with Punk on if Punk was the one. I saw he got blamed for that too recently. That's another thing. Stop worrying about what CM Punk did in that company. He's gone. I'm tired of seeing AEW people hate on this dude. The problem is gone. Shine.
AEW has become exponentially dependent on things that don't matter. They're focused on having 3 shows. For the love of God, you barely have anybody left. What do you got 3 shows for? Okay, you're focused on featuring New Japan stars in your main event of your weekly show. Why? Why is Christian not on television? Why is Christian backstage with the belt watching Edge in a match? Like, what? Let's refocus and recalibrate our thinking. We're losing. We need to make adjustments. And you know what? Your stinking power rankings don't mean a damn thing. That's the bottom line. I don't care. I don't care that the 3rd-ranked tag team in AEW is Sting and Darby Allin. If you want to give Sting and Darby Allin a title shot, have them face somebody in a number 1 contenders match and have them go to the pay-per-view and challenge for the belts. Stop making it overcomplicated.
Yeah.
Come on, let's be real.
Yeah, McKinney says, take away Mox, Omega, Danielson, Jay White, and Okada. Who do you want to see Will Ospreay wrestle? Swerve.
Right.
That's that for me, at least. We talked about it previously. Like Swerve is someone I'd like to see him wrestle. After Swerve, I mean, you could always do the Okada matches. The problem is he's bringing in people who have wrestled each other. Would it be cool to see Omega? I mean, Let me ask you this, Sean. You're Tony Khan. Do you pass up the opportunity to get Okada or Will Ospreay in them if they're open? Like you can have them?
No, you don't pass up the opportunity, but you don't have them main event every single pay-per-view. You don't have them come out and become the prominent portion of your television show. Let me give you a perfect example, Conrad, of what AEW should do. And I hate to say this because WWE has stunk for so long, but I have to reference the same thing I've referenced many times in a row. There was a time about a year and a half ago where the only thing good on WWE television was what?
Bloodline.
Exactly. The Bloodline, the week after Money in the Bank, even though it was ridiculous and they broke up the team, don't get me started. But that week, the Bloodline opened up the show. They were the only thing on television for 40 minutes. The show started at 8 o'clock with the Usos. The show was at 8:37, and the Bloodline were still in the ring. Focus on what you got that works. I don't care if Prince Nana has to dance the whole show. If it's selling tickets, do it. You don't have to squeeze in a trios match between three New Japan guys and versus the Hardy Boys and one half of Private Party. Like, you're losing. Make adjustments.
Renegade L2K says even WCW 2000 didn't do rankings. Well, they were doing stupid stuff like taking all the belts away, then doing tournaments for them again. I really don't like the WCW 2000 comparisons to AEW. AEW is not that bad, honestly. Like, it's not in WCW 2000 territory, in my opinion.
AEW is not WCW 2000, but it's turning into WCW 99. The writing is starting to become on the wall.
I mean, I still think Joe's a strong champion for them. Christian's been a strong champion for them. Like I said, my issues are with some of the lower tier things that they're doing. They have to figure out how to bounce back from this and just make their product overall interesting. I see people talk about Lashley's faction name. We got asked about what we thought of the name The Pride.
Yeah,
you a fan?
Not good.
It makes me think of Lion King, I'm not gonna lie. So apparently Kevin Owens wrestled Logan Paul with a fractured foot, so it looks like he's not gonna be in WrestleMania. Maybe another injury.
Oh. WrestleMania 32 all over again.
Resident Evil AMC, what's up? What's good? Mike says, I was saying the same thing, Quills. Now Prince Nana gotta dance the whole show.
Hey, whatever works, bro.
Every time Shaw hits the watch, he's like, "Get up, God, bro, catch a vibe, and I swear when I try."
Well, it's little things, right? Here's something, and this is for Guy Will Gamble and you too, Conrad. It's little things. Change the embassy's music. It's about little things. Change the embassy's music so when the embassy come out, Prince Nana can dance. It's not brain surgery. It's about little. Now think about that, guys. Think about that. Think about what I just said, Conrad. Is that a massive change? No. Change the embassy's music. Why is Prince Nana coming out without that music playing?
Make the embassy dress the same. Why does Brian Cage come out different than the tag team? And Khan better stop taking pins. I'm tired of that.
You're talking right, brother. That's what I'm talking about, right?
By the way, has anyone noticed that Khan does the pedigree? That's Disco Inferno Chartbuster territory. Cut it out.
Now, my question to you is, Conrad, I just came up with a really easy theme change, and you just came up with an easy, nice and easy wardrobe change. If we could think about that, how come they can't?
I think there's too much freedom for the performers to think about that. And it's just Cage like, yeah, I'm coming out wearing this. This looks cool, right? Yeah, it looks cool, but it doesn't fit the faction. What do you do? You know what I mean? Like, some of those things matter to people. And when they see it, they're like, Swerve and Ospreay will put butts in seats. Yeah. Listen, they've got things on their agenda that they can do. I'm not saying AEW's cooked or finished yet. I want to see how they bounce back and they can try to like put some things together. We'll see. I'm looking forward to the Sting thing. Me and Sean are probably gonna have to do a Sting show coming up here soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sean, let's end this show, man. Raw just started. I'm gonna let these people get into watching Raw. Take us out, man.
I mean, we're talking about a really tough time in AEW's history, and we're talking about a really tough time all of a sudden out of nowhere in WWE history. WWE's back is against the wall. They've been rolling, but their injury bug is really catching up to them, and AEW, from a creative standpoint, is really struggling. So we have to see what happens next. But listen, we want to thank each and every person in chat for being with us here on Monday night, this Monday night, and all Monday nights. It seems like the chat is growing. We're really thankful for you guys. Without y'all, we wouldn't be able to be doing this. We're going, like I said, this is our third calendar year. We started in 2022. This is 2024. And it's really exciting to see how the show has grown. Conrad and I were talking off the air. He's not out of gas. I'm not out of gas. So we're going to continue pressing on. It's WrestleMania season. There's going to be a special WrestleMania Clash of the Podcast over on the Hubbard Wrestling Weekly channel, WrestleMania Week. So that's something to look out for pretty soon. I'm thinking about doing an Elimination Chamber show as well. But the flagship is right here, man. Make sure you check out EPW with my guy Derek and Conrad every Wednesday night right here at 10:05 Eastern after AEW. And again, the flagship is right here every Monday night right here on the Everything Pro Wrestling channel, Clash of the Podcast. We appreciate you. God bless. Conrad, I thank you, my brother. And as always, stay encouraged. God is good all the time. All the time, God is good, and evil never prevails. We'll see you next week.